Hello, welcome to 15minuteguitar.com. In today's video I'm going to give you a really quick and useful tip to find all of the notes across the fretboard by just knowing the two strings, the low E and the A string. First thing you'll need to know is you need to know your musical alphabet, so if you don't know that, I'll teach you that just very quickly, and it's something you do need to know to work this out. Musical alphabet goes from A to G, so A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and then it goes back round again. As you probably know, there's sharps and flats in between that as well. So if we start from the E string, I'm going to go all the way up the E string and back, telling you all the note names. I'm going to say sharps on the way up and flats on the way back. I'm going to do that on the E and the A strings, and then once we know that, you can then work out any note across the fretboard using a technique called octaves, okay? And I'm going to go through octaves with you, explain how they work, the different fingerings you can use for the octaves, and how useful they are for you to find your notes very quickly on the fretboard, okay? It can be years of study to learn the notes across the fretboard, you know, to really unlock the fretboard, but this is a really quick way for you to be able to find any note from just knowing the E and the A strings. Okay, so let's dive straight in. First thing you need to know is all the notes along the E string and all the notes along the A string. Okay, so I'm going to go through that. Starting from the low string, start from the open string, so it's open E, is the first note we hit. 1 second, helps if you're not on the tuner. So we start from the open E. Next one up is F, F sharp, G, G sharp, A sharp, B, C, C sharp, D, D sharp, and E. We've done a full cycle from E to E back at the 12th fret there. One thing to just tell you as well, you might be thinking, well, how come some of them have sharps and some of them don't? That just depends on on what note we're on in the cycle. The notes that don't have any sharps are B and E. It spells the word B, so nice and easy to remember. B and E don't have any sharps, they go straight to the next natural note. So B goes straight to C, and E goes straight to F, okay? So there's no B sharp, and there's no E sharp, okay? It's good to remember that. So we made it to the 12th fret. Going back down, now the note's going to go lower. We're going to call this flats on the way back down now, okay? So start from the top here, so E again, E flat, D, D flat, C, B, B flat, A flat, G, G flat, F, and back to the open E. Okay, like we did with the sharps, again with the flats, there's certain notes that don't have flats, okay? And those are very easy to remember as well, because F and C, and I just look at that as football club. If you remember FC, football club, it's good to remember. So there's no F flat and there's no C flat, okay? It goes straight to the next natural note. All right, so that's our E string. I said you need to know your A string, so we're getting there. If we move along to the A string now, we start on A sharp, B. Now if you remember what I said, B and E, B doesn't have a sharp, so the next note will be, hopefully you got it, C. Okay, so next one up, C, C sharp, D, D sharp, E. That's the other one of our notes, so we should go next to F, F sharp, G, G sharp, back to A. If you get the cycle right, you should end on A every time at the 12th fret, or E at the 12th fret. If you get it wrong, just check where just watch your cycle and just check where you've got it wrong and make sure you work that out. Going back down the other way now, we're going to say flats. So starting at 12th fret, this is the A flat, G, G flat, F, E, E flat, D, D flat, C, B, B flat, A. Okay, so spend a little bit of time learning that because we need that. It's so important to know our notes across the fretboard. But once we've just learned those two strings, this is where the magic happens, because when we start doing octaves, we can now know any note on the fretboard. If Henry sat behind the camera, picked a note on the fretboard, with my octaves, I'll be able to find it, okay? So now we know that, we've worked that out. We're going to now work out our octave shape. So we're going to go logically through the alphabet. So we're going to work out A, B, C, D, E, F, and G. Not going to worry about the sharps and flats at the moment. So if you remember on an E string, A is up here on the 5th fret. Okay, so I'm going to put my first finger on the 5th fret. That's the first note. And then our octave shape is simply just a diagonal pattern across the fretboard you miss out the A string, and it's really important to say that you use your first finger to mute that A string there, okay, because I don't want that ringing out, because it's not going to sound, it sounded right actually, because it's A, but generally if you move it round, it won't sound okay. If you've got an A ringing out when you're doing a B up here, it's not going to sound so great. So just mute that one by lying that finger flat across there. Don't press down too hard, because we don't want to hear that note. We don't want to hear the D note there ringing out. We just want it to be muted. Okay, so that's that one there. And then you want your third finger goes up on the 7th fret of the D string, okay? And those two notes, if you pick them with the thumb in the first finger, they're both exactly the same pitch. One is lower and one is higher, but it's exactly the same pitch. So that's our A there. And see if I can find my plectrum, I put it down there. So there's my A there. So I'm going to hit across the strings there. And you're going to say, how am I going to hit those two without hitting that one? It's impossible. You just have to hit down, and you've muted it. You know it's covered with this hand, so it's not going to ring out and get in the way. So here we go. That one. Then we move up to B, because we're going to go up in the alphabet. So B goes this way. So we go A, B. Up to the next note, C. We're going to cross over strings now, okay? So we're going to go into the A string, fret number 3 with our first finger. Same shape, see? The same diagonal pattern shape. So we've gone A, B, C, D, going to go up 2 frets, E, 2 frets again. For F, now we're going to change, so we go across the string now, so first finger again, lead in this, on the 3rd fret of the D string, which is our F note. Now, because of the tuning of the B string, as you probably know, the guitar's tuned in 4ths apart from the B string, we have to put our little finger out an extra fret here, okay? You don't really want to use your 3rd finger, it's a bit of a stretch. You want to try and use the correct finger, which is your 4th finger. Now, first finger's on fret 3, and your little finger's on fret number 6 on the B string. Same again, now we're just muting the G string with that first finger, okay? That's F, and then up 2 frets, that's our G, okay? You want to be able to do that going up and down, so. Okay, so that's in alphabetical order, A, B, C, D, E, F, and G. Yeah, watch out with the mutes, that's the most important thing to say, so watch that you are muting the notes as you move down. And don't forget that you can move, now you know this, you can move these shapes up anywhere on the fretboard. So you're probably asking the question now, you're thinking, okay, I've learned that shape, I've learned that exercise, how do I know the notes? Okay, so this is important now, because what we're doing is we're relating it back to the first finger every time. Wherever that first finger is, we can go on a diagonal pattern, so say if I start here, which this note here is a G, because we just learned on E string. Diagonal pattern, miss a string, and up a diagonal shape like that, it's always going to be the same note, okay? Until you get down to the B string, which I'll explain in a second. So that is always going to be the same note. That note there is a G, that note there is a G, okay? If I go up again and I switch that note, the 3rd finger there, with my first finger, so still a G. Now remember, because of the B string, as I said, that's a different, different tuning. You have to move up 1 extra fret. That is always going to be the same. So that is an A, sorry, that's an A, that's a G, and that's a G. Okay, so we've got this shape, that's a G, that's a G. All right, we can move those shapes anywhere on the fretboard, knowing the first finger note is the key, is the answer to what the note is, and we can move that anywhere around the fretboard. And it's a real cool thing to use in solos as well, like a jazzy sort of solo. You could go like a. Yeah, it's a really cool thing to do. It's a cool thing, a technique to use for building up tension, so you can sort of go. Okay, so you can build up lots and lots of tension with that. And all you're doing really is just going. But by doubling up that octave and giving it really it gives it more of a fuller sound and sort of builds up. And I use it loads in my playing, so it's a really handy technique to know. So how do we get this into a solo? That's the last probably thing you want to think about. So you've learned the exercise, you've learned the notes on the E and the A strings, great, well done. You've then just learned the A, B, C, D, E, F, and G like we did then. And now you're thinking, okay, that's great, but how do I apply this to a solo and I get what I've just done into a solo? So to do that, we're going to refer to our lovely shape of the A minor pentatonic shape. On the 5th fret, everyone loves this shape, the most used shape on the guitar, we'll probably say. And then what we're going to do is we're going to do this now in octaves, okay? So we're going to do this in A minor pentatonic in octaves. So it's going to go. All right, so that's our A minor scale. It's all the same notes. So all I'm doing my first finger does all of the notes from the scale, okay? And then I just use the diagonal pattern as I go across to the D string, remember? It all stays the same shape like that with the first and the third. But then as I move across to the D string, my shape widens up because remember the B string's a different tuning, so we have to change our finger position for that. So if I just teach you through this, finger number 1 on fret 5, that's our A note. And then we have our third finger on the 7th fret of the D string, that's our first A. We hit that down. Okay, next note we're going to do for the A minor pentatonic, we're going to jump up to C. Okay, so this is up here on the fret number 8 with the first finger. And then your third finger stays the same diagonal shape. It's on fret number 10 there, the D string. So we go on. Move across now, fret number 5 on the A string and fret 7 on the G string. Don't forget to mute it in between so the D string's muted. Move that up 2 frets. That's up to our E. Now we're going to move across to the D string now. So remember what I said, first finger leads, there's your normal note, there's a G note from a normal pentatonic minor. Use your little finger now, it's got to go 1 extra fret higher, so it's not that. Okay, we don't want that. If we do that, it won't sound very nice. Sounds okay, clashing a little bit. It's not an octave. An octave is 1 extra fret higher with the little finger there. We hit that note, that's a G. Then we jump up 2 frets, same shape, keep the same shape, try and keep the form with your fingers. Back to an A again. And then we're going to go up, we're going to carry on past the A here. That note is a C. And then up again. That's our D. Okay? Learn that exercise going up and down. So. Pop on your favourite backing track in the key of A minor and try and solo using that. Okay? So normally you may be soloing like. And then add some. If you add rhythm into that, so initially it probably won't sound like that, it will sound like this. Just. Okay, that's absolutely fine. We've all got to start somewhere, so it's going to sound like that to begin with. And then when you start adding rhythmic sort of strumming with the right hand, it really comes to life. So you get this sort of. That's all A minor pentatonic. I promise you, put a backing track on in the key of A minor, you do a bit of that and it will sound absolutely awesome. Alright? Hope that helps you out, guys. Just a really quick tip. Learn the E and the A strings, learn the notes, the A, B, C, D, E, F and G, the scale shape that we showed you, and then learn the A minor pentatonic using octaves. Hope you enjoy that, guys. I'll see you in the next video.